Hey guys, this is live. I don't usually do these, not usually my thing. Unboxing's also not usually my thing. Has a major benefit, however, I don't have to do any editing, which is beautiful. It shows up, so thank you those who are joining live and those who are viewing after the fact as well. But I figured if you're going to do an unboxing, what better way than to do it live, because you can actually get the real reaction that people have. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this up. Before I do it, I got a ton of drones here to compare to. I think the most relevant ones are the Spark and the Mavic Air. These two drones have been out for a while, especially the Spark, basically discontinued, and I think to a large extent, I think the Air is going to be kind of on its way out too. While it does have better specs in some ways than the Mavic Mini in terms of speed and 4K video, the price is, it's like twice as much. We also have the Parrot Anafi here to compare to. I brought some bigger drones as well, but those aren't really as much of a comparison. The question is, really, is this drone going to pan out? Is this the drone of the year? I mean, I think it's going to be a huge seller just on price alone. And that weight, it's supposed to be under 249 grams is what it's supposed to be at. So we'll see if mine comes in under 250. I have kind of calibrated this guy out. So without further ado, let's open it up. So I'm probably the last reviewer in America to get mine, unfortunately. It was like stuck in customs in Anchorage, Alaska. I don't know if some guy walked these across the Aleutian Islands or something. I don't know what the deal is there. Pretty lame, not super happy about it, but at least we got it. So I can give you guys some good reviews, some good content. Hopefully you enjoy it before the holidays and before people need to make their holiday purchase decisions. I think this is going to be on a lot of people's lists. So let's see what we got. So first up, we got a little case here. I'm assuming all the stuff I'm most interested in is in there. Let's see. This looks like just the prop guards. I'm not going to use these. Probably ever. That's alright. We'll take a look at those in a minute. Some instructions. Looks like we got the charger here. Let's see how big this charger is. Oh, okay. We got an eensy weensy little USB charger, and it is only 2 amps. Oh no, that's 9 volt 2 amps. We got 5 volt 3 amps, so pretty good there. 3 amps, about as much as you're gonna get. This must be my spare batteries, or all my batteries. Got some dead cardboard space. And I got my 3 batteries. Let's just compare real quick, see how those stack up to a Spark battery. So, about the same length, definitely a little bit thinner. A little bit smaller than a Spark battery in terms of size. Put that back on. Those are my batteries, my charger, instructions. Read those later if we need to. And that's all that's in the box. What the heck? Let's open these up. I'll keep you guys in suspense. There are the prop guards. You know what? I'm gonna leave these in the bag in case I don't like this drone and I want to stick with the Air. And my other Mavics, we'll just make these a little easier to sell. So I'm not even gonna pull those out. Alright, moment of truth. See how small this thing really is. Okay. Alright. So somebody shrunk my Mavic. That is nuts. So I looked at the dimensions of the leaked images and I thought there was no way this thing was actually going to be under 250 grams. I mean, the specs had, the overall size of it is being between the Spark here. Looks like it's about the same thickness as the Spark, same height I should say, same length folded up as the body of the Spark. But it was really coming in at like the same size. I thought, okay, this is more than, this is this is over 300 grams, and it looks bigger. I didn't think they were going to get there, but obviously they did. And this thing weighs like nothing right now. It doesn't have a battery in it, but it is unbelievably light and tiny. It feels not like a DJI product. It feels super, super lightweight. Let's see, I got one more prop piece of tape on there. Let's pop off that gimbal guard. It says right on the side 249 grams. Maybe that's so you could show the police when they're, or the FAA police, or whatever country you might be in. You say, hey, look, no, it's not 250 grams. But let's find out. Okay, 0 grams. We got 149. 248. It thought about going to 249. So it really is there. Here's a different battery with the plastic on it. 249. 249. So I think they really nailed it with, they didn't leave a gram to spare really, or I guess 1 extra gram to spare compared to what they put on the box, 249. So coming in at just a gram under, pretty unreal. And again, this thing just feels like there's nothing in it. It feels like empty plastic, which it almost has to. So comparing this to something you may be more familiar with, my favorite Coke can comparison, it's about the same height, it's about the same width. It doesn't weigh anything near what a can of Coke. A can of Coke, 383 grams. Let's just compare it now to the Spark. It looks about the same. So the wingspan is a bit bigger. The prop size is about the same, but those motors are pushed out a little further than the Spark. Probably a little bit better aerodynamics. And the air, clearly smaller. So this is a drone you might actually carry in your pocket. So if you remember from the release, when they released this guy, he pulled it out of his pocket. It's a little bulky in your pocket, but the Mini is really coming in tiny there. So doesn't look all that different in overall size, but I'll tell you the weight of this thing is like nothing. So I don't know what they pulled out of here, but it is tiny. The camera, it looks, I gotta say it looks a little cheap. It's all plastic. No metal, no real, maybe there's a metal heat sink on the back, the little ribs on the back, maybe to try to get a little heat. Now what they're saying is they held back the 4K capability because of the camera system overheating, or concerns about that. We have heard of that being an issue on the much larger Mavic Pro if you shoot this in 4K 60. Similar heat sink design, these little ribs, but this is an all metal housing. I don't know if you could see that on the Mavic Pro. That's the Mavic 2 Pro. And this is all plastic, so maybe that's a piece of metal back there, it looks like, maybe aluminum. But still, going to be maybe an issue there. Now design-wise, they did decide to trick us by putting these fake, non-existent little obstacle avoidance sensors. In terms of capabilities, that's going to be the one thing you're missing compared to the Spark. So they pulled off those sensors. They pulled off a lot of little kind of nice looking features. So, the Spark, rubber feet. This guy's got a different material, although it's still hard on its feet. Obviously the Mavic Pro lineup. Lots of extra parts, little nice to have things. They really stripped this down. Most notably is these ugly, under the motors, you can see the screws. You don't normally see that on anything but kind of little racing drones and things. So apparently they couldn't spare the weight to have some nice little like LEDs and LED covers, things like that. So they just pulled everything out of here. So it looks cheaper, and they're trying to make it look like a regular Mavic by putting these fake non-existent sensors on there. I'm not a fan of that, but I think they wanted it to look like a real Mavic. When somebody sees it on the shelf, they say, hey, that looks like the drone my buddy has a $2,000, $1,000 drone, and it looks just like it, and I can get it for $399 or whatever it's going to be on the shelves for in this Christmas or holiday shopping season. To me, it's kind of like people who put air ducts on the back of their Mustangs. We know you're not pulling air into your engine back there, so stop pretending. No offense to anybody who does that, but same thing here. It's kind of false advertising, but it is what it is. So I'm excited for this thing. I want to see how it handles. I did have some serious issues with the Mavic Air. There's some things I don't like about it. It is a drone I travel with frequently, but there's some limitations, some gotchas. Really the gimbal range is a big thing for me. So if you fly this in sport mode, the gimbal will gimbal down on you. Sometimes you're doing an orbit, the gimbal kind of gives up. The drone's flying sideways, and the gimbal can't match the range or the angle of the drone, and so it kind of gives up, and you'll see some jittery motions of your footage, which is a major downfall and issue there. Now this guy, I can already tell, has way more travel, so that issue of doing an orbit or point of interest isn't going to be there. I think this is going to do much, much better. Now they did scale down the app significantly, so we're going to have fewer features probably in the app in terms of what you can do with this. But for beginners or for maybe some pilots that are trying to get around some of the restrictions on flight of what you can do with a 250-gram drone, this is really an interesting option, but certainly for beginners. I do know in some countries like Canada, there are real advantages to having a drone under 250 grams. Here in the U.S., you save yourself $10 or whatever in a registration fee and having to put a big ugly sticker on the outside of your drone. So what else do we got here? Let's just take a look what comes. We got the Fly More package, so here's what you get. This thing's super slick, so it doesn't fold up like some other chargers, but it actually looks way easier to use. You don't have to mess around. You can slide your batteries in there really easily, and that's actually really nice. You can store them in there too. Got some goodies. Okay, we got a screwdriver. Alright, I'm laughing because like every cheap drone you get comes with a screwdriver, and I've never gotten a screwdriver. There you can see the tip of it, Phillips head, with a DJI drone. So that's kind of funny. But why is that? For the first time I've ever had a DJI drone, the props don't just come off so easily. Now, that's a major advantage for like a racing drone where you're constantly bending the props. For a DJI drone, I've never actually damaged a prop, I don't think, on a DJI drone. I know Jack, the other half of Half Chrome, he did break one set of our Spark propellers, but he almost never damaged them. So it actually makes sense that they saved some weight and some money and just went with these screw-on props. But it's just kind of funny, the cost-cutting measures that they went through there. Let me get rid of the scale. We got our cables in there. Let's see. What kind of cables we got? We got a micro USB, not USB-C. So kind of going backwards in time a little bit there. It probably saves a little bit of money and a little bit of weight sticking with the micro USB. Now this remote, I mean, how much does this thing weigh? This thing weighs got to be around 300. I'm just curious. I was wrong, 245. So it actually weighs a little bit less than the drone with the battery, but as you can see, it's the same size as the body of the drone, a little bit bigger actually. I don't have any of my other remotes handy up here, but it's the same size as the other DJI drones. Very similar to the Mavic 2 with the gimbal sticks that come right out and store in the case. No on-screen information, or no screen built in here. to the remote, so you're going to be relying on whatever's on your phone and showing up there. So nothing super new from DJI there. They're really sticking with what they know, and we'll kind of see how this thing works out when we get it up in the air later. Finally, one more thing, and don't leave just yet. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what we're going to do with this guy. We got the extra props here that I hope I never need to use. The gimbal guard, let's just see how easy that is to get on and off. That's often a bit of a challenge with DJI drones. Let's see if I can figure this out. Okay, that's actually the easiest. So that was my first time. It'll get much faster at that. That's actually the easiest time I've ever had getting on a gimbal guard for a DJI drone the first time. So they did well there. Seems like it's maybe not actually guarding the gimbal all that much. Now that I look at it, I'm not sure. Oh, looks like it hugs it pretty close. And it's definitely protecting the lens. So there you go. Just for size comparison, let's break out the Mavic 2. You know, you're gonna put this in your backpack if you go abroad, go on travel. Much smaller, much lighter. So what else did I want to talk about? Real quick, let me get on my list here. What was I going to tell you guys about? So we went over the weight, went over obstacle avoidance. So who should buy this thing? Obviously this is going to be the gift item, right? So it's kind of starting to enter into that zone of giftability. Under $500, you can get it under $400 without the fly more. So it's there, right? So that's an obvious one. We've heard of people in Canada interested in buying it to do professional work. That's going to be one of the first videos I make, maybe the first after this, is to actually go fly a house with this and see how it does. Our friend down in Florida, the original Dobo, just did a video on that. It looked pretty darn good. I want to see what I get out of this outside. Not going to fly 2 drones, just, how does it go? How does it go? Do I need a better drone? I've done videos in the past with this guy, actually. My biggest issue, other than the camera quality isn't quite there, was just, interference, and even in just neighborhoods. So let's see if the Mavic Air does better. I suspect it will. Similarly here with the Mavic Air, I've done some professional work with it in a pinch, and I did have those issues where you think things are going well and you go and review the footage and you get some of the gimbal tilt issues. Something else I want to make you aware of. So DJI just dropped their prices on all their stuff, not the Mavic Air, but all their other stuff. I mean, sorry, not the Mavic Mini, but the Pro, Mavic 2 Pro, Mavic Air, way lower. So these are lower than the prices after they hiked the prices for the US tariffs. So, I mean, prices for the Mavic 2 Pro were like getting over $1,700. Now I think they're around $1,400 or $1,350 or something. I mean, way lower than they were listed for even a couple weeks ago. So that's really awesome. Check out in the link in the description for that. If you want to see the videos I'm going to make with this, me and Jack, we're going to do some stuff with it. Make sure you subscribe. We'll have more to come with this guy. So I'm going to go fly a real estate shoot with this for my friend. Maybe free of charge, we'll see. So that's it. No obstacle avoidance, obscenely light, doesn't feel all that professional, but we'll see if it can still do professional stuff. Thanks guys for watching, and again, make sure you subscribe. We'll see you next time.